I lost $1 million in 2023. Well, kind of. The truth is actually maybe crazier, and the lesson is going to be extremely powerful for those of you guys who want to make big money and want to live a good lifestyle. So, the truth is, if I had done nothing, if I had done no work in 2023, literally, if I had done no work in 2023, I would have had my first 7 figure year. I would be up 7 figures on the year if I had done no work in 2023. How was that possible? I'm going to explain to you, and it's going to have a lot of lessons and ramifications for those of you, again, who are trying to take control of your life and or make big money, which is one way to take control of your life. So check this out. On my main channel, I put up a video earlier in the year called something like how to make 7 figures income, how to make a 7 figure income working 2 hours a day. And this is, I'm going to give you the proof in concept of this, of how it could have been done and how I'm going to do it moving forward. So welcome in fam, much love, Trav here. Smash the thumbs up button, leave a comment if you find this valuable, and yeah, share this video with whoever. Okay, so here's how. If I had not touched my trading account since December 31, 2022, I would be up over $1 million in 2023. So literally, the position, we're going to talk about trading and get technical later on, but for now, just sort of general lessons that don't have anything to do with trading. We'll get to that. But just so you know, the literal of it is, I was December 31, 2022, I was long, which means I had 50 Bitcoin in my trading account, essentially, on leverage, at $17,000. When I'm making this video, it's over $40,000. It's up over $20,000 per coin, times 50 coins, up over $1 million. When I'm recording this video, it's like $1.2 million that would be up. So yeah, literally, if I had done nothing, like if I had been locked out of my account, or I had taken the time off, or maybe like I went into a coma or something. So I think this is such a beautiful lesson because of the timing. Like December 31, like literally if I had done nothing this year, right? Like this lesson that could have started at any time, but it happened to start at December 31. I believe things happen for a reason. I believe God gives messages. I believe the message here is to say, to look at closely. If you hadn't worked this year, you would have made $1 million. That's like super challenging to believe. Like if you don't work, you make 7 figures. How is that possible? Okay, so what did I do instead? I closed the position. I made like small money on that trade, and I kind of spun my wheels all year, working really hard. And I actually ending the year down in money this year. Now this isn't a bad beat story. Again, we're going to come back to the lesson. And I'm not like, oh, I should have made $1 million. No, it's like, wow, I got $1 million lesson. I'm super happy because I survived. I learned $1 million lesson, and I can apply it next year, and the following year, and the following year, right? So, I had a year where I made like $400,000. So, I mean, it's. In theory, I should have already known this and don't have to learn this lesson, but the point is, like, there's going to be more opportunities. This isn't a bad beat story. I'm not here to complain. Obviously, none of you are going to feel sorry for me. That's not the point of it. The point is to have a lesson for you that I'm sharing from experience of how you can make 7 figures from a couple hours of work a day. So check out this book, What I Learned Losing $1 Million. This is the vibe right now. Okay, so this is going to sound privileged, right? So before I give my lesson, let me just tell you, like, if you are working very hard and you're hustling and you're just making ends meet, you deserve respect. You're amazing. You're awesome. And it's okay to keep doing that. But for those of you who are trying to like make really big money or trying to make life-changing money, it's not about greed, but so you have time and freedom. Let me tell you, the lesson is, like literally, do no work, make 7 figures. The lesson is, it's not about what you do. It has nothing to do with what you do. Nothing to do with what you do. It has everything to do with what you know. And not even who you know, but what you know. If you have the right skills, if you know what to do, you will make the money and you might not have to do that much. But if you don't know, everything that you do will get you nowhere, and you won't make that kind of money. So what does that mean in terms of habit, or like the actual takeaway? Well, let me tell you, stop trying to hustle all the time. If you're trying to make money, stop trying to work all the time, trying to get more hours. No, take your phone, stop making Instagram posts or whatever, scrolling, stop writing more, making more content, stop looking for more jobs or whatever it is. Take your phone, take your computer, lock them in a box for the night, lock them at sunset. Do this as long as you have to. Sit down with a pen and a paper and the right book and be bored and alone with nothing but your thoughts for hours, and do that every single day, and that's how you make the quantum leap. Think about your life deeply every day. Don't get online first thing in the morning. Sit down with a pen and a paper. Don't go online first thing in the morning. Give yourself hours to just sit with your thoughts, and not just what you learning things, but look at what you think that you know, and anything that's not helpful and you believe is actually this might be wrong, throw it away, right? So I mean, I had a belief like if I want to make money, I gotta hustle. That's clearly not true. The lesson I'm getting from God right now, from the last year, from I could have made $1 million by doing nothing, is that it's not about hustling, right? So here's the lesson. Here's the lesson. It's not what you do. It's not doing. It's knowing. As Tai Lopez says, knowledge, right? He's right. So let me share some practical things from this year, and then we're going to get into trading. But probably as far as like actionable thing, I think the best thing that I got out of this year was the digital lock boxes for my phone and my computer, where I can, if I want, and often I do that, it's routine at sunset for my phone, and then like around 2:30 or even like noon for my computer. Throw them in a lockbox, done for the day. I cannot access them. I cannot contact anyone. I'm just alone, right, in this world. And I'm sitting down there and I'm studying and I'm thinking and I'm doing the deep work. So, and I'm not distracted and bombarded by content. This content might help you, hit the thumbs up, whatever, but there's a point you got to log off and go on and think, right? So that's something that I can really recommend is, okay, if the goal is to know and not to do, turn off your phone and turn off your computer, because those are associated with doing, and do some thinking, which is associated with knowing. Now that might mean preparing yourself. Like another thing I do is I print off study material and I have the right books and I sit down there and I study offline, right? Those are some ideas. But whatever, and I think that's applicable no matter what your business is. Like you don't need to be putting out fires all the time. You need to be learning and forgetting. Learning things to take the quantum leap, and forgetting, which really takes the quantum leap of like, these things that I thought I knew are wrong. They're not helpful. They're wrong. Okay, so let's talk about trading. For those of you who are interested in the trading part, depending on where you're seeing this, I have two channels, Travis Wu and Travis Wu Trades. Travis Wu Trades, I get technical on trading. So now, first off, why trading? Like trading is something, knowing, you cannot make $1 million doing farm labor or doing most things, right? You can make $1 million, you can make 7 figures, you can make 8 figures trading. That's something that you know. Why is it possible? And I'm not telling trading's for everyone. It's not. It's just what I've chosen. And the reason I've chosen it is because you only need you need 2 skills really. You need trading the charts, and you need, I guess I would say there's only 3 skills. Okay, trading the charts, risk management or money management, and scheduling. Those are only 3 things you need. Really, it's only 2 skills. Really, it's only like 2 skills. Any other business, like the best way to make 7 figures, or really the only way for most people, is to have a business, right? Trading business is one of them. I've done a lot of other businesses. Most businesses have a really hard time scaling because if you scale, you have a lot of, you're gonna have to have teammates. You're gonna have more people. You cannot necessarily just do the exact same thing, and you need a lot of skills. You're gonna have to put on a hat. So you're gonna have to be a salesman. You're gonna have to be a marketer. You're gonna have to be an expert in the thing that you're doing. You're gonna have to have copywriting, content production, speaking, maybe video editing. Like eventually, you hire people, but then you need to be a manager of people too, and then you still need to manage the money and do the accounting and all these things. And again, you can hire all these things out. And part of scaling a business is replacing yourself, hiring these people out. But you might need to scale inventory. You might need to scale locations. With trading, there's no marketing, there's no sales, there's no assistance, there's no team, there's no leads or bookings, sales calls. There's no inventory, there's no physical location. It's just you and managing your money and the charts, and it can be done in an hour a day, 2 hours a day. And the difference between making 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, and 8 figures is just how much money you risk. There's no additional work in scaling for the most part. For the most part, there's no additional work in scaling. There might be psychological work in scaling, because when you're risking $1,000 versus risking $10,000 versus risking $100,000 on a trade, like, it might take some time to make that leap. But the point is, that's why I chose trading as the thing to do to make money for me. So before we get into the technical trading lesson, like New Year's resolution 2024, my goal is to spend less time trading, spend less time chasing money, because that's not how I made like a lot of money in the markets in the past. And that was the opportunity from this year. It was like, work less, right? Think deeply more, work less, right? Less doing, more thinking and knowing. Okay? Knowing and forgetting even, right? What you know and what you don't know. Okay. So now let's talk about the trading aspect of things. So the big lesson here, I have this book, Market Wizards, right here. I've read this a number of times this year. And I have another book here called, here it is, How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market. The guys who are making the most money, and in this, Jack Schwager interviewed a number of guys who have done 100% annual returns, plus annual returns, for 10 or 20 straight years. So double your money for 10 straight years. A number of guys have done this. They, for the most part, all have the same thing in common, and they're doing, and this is where it gets technical, they're trend following on a higher time frame. These guys are not day trading, they're not scalping, they're not specializing in one asset. They have essentially mechanical systems that take advantage of the big trends in the marketplace. And we're going to get into a little bit of trend following system of what it is, but buying and holding is a form of trend following, right? So if I just stayed in my long and just bought and hold, stop loss at break even, that's a form of trend following, right? And that's what I did in 2020, 2021, when I sat in a 10 Bitcoin long, right, for a year and a half. So there's different forms of trend following, but again, I'll say it again. And all the trading education out there, you're going to see there's a lot of day traders who are selling you courses. I believe some of those guys make money. I don't believe that that's the best way. And I do not believe that that's how the guys who are making 9, 10 figures trade, right? Again, it's not day traders, it's not scalpers, it's not short-term speculators that are making the 100% returns every year. It's trend followers on a high time frame. So again, one version of trend following is just buying and holding. Now you want to get more advanced than, I mean, you don't necessarily even need to, right? Like, proof in the pudding, that would have been 7 figures, and that was, it doesn't always work, but there's different versions of trend following. But the idea of trend following is, I'm just going to write trend, getting into something, and this is another thing Tai Lopez likes to say, what's the trend, right? Okay, getting into something that's going up or going down and just staying with it as long as possible, making your position as big as possible, not taking a quick profit. Now you need to be right that it's going, but the way, let's get technical here. I would say the main thing that all trend following systems have in common, and I'm going to share some things, some different versions of trend following systems, but the main thing that all trend following systems have in common, they don't have a take profit and they trail their stop loss. So what does that mean? Is like most day traders, scalpers, like they take a quick buck when price moves 1, 2, 3 times their risk, they exit. Trend followers don't do this. They never exit based on how far it goes. They just keep advancing their stop. And what happens here is a lot of the time price comes down and stops them out. But every once in a while, something does a 10x, something doubles, and then doubles again, and it doubles again, and they're there for the whole ride because they're just trailing their stop. You don't know how far it's going to go, right? You don't know how far it's going to go, and it happens with commodities, it happens with soybean, we've seen it happen with Bitcoin and Ethereum. It happens with the stock market. Stock market doubles, right? We see it happen with gold. We see it happen with, you don't know what it's going to be. It's certain stocks, right? Certain stocks, any kind of asset, right? The best guys, they trade every asset. They trade every asset. They don't limit themselves. So again, the most basic form of trend following is no TP, trailing stop, okay? And so this is the fundamental of trend following, no TP and a trailing stop. Now, as far as how to actually trade it, I'm going to share different ideas about how to take entries. There's all kinds of different ones. One of the really famous ones by one of the best traders, most influential traders, Richard Dennis, who trained the turtle traders. He trained a bunch of guys who averaged around 100% a year for 10 years. It's just passed on his knowledge. They would essentially just buy something anytime it hit like a 20-day high or a 50-day high. Like anytime something's making a new high, it's kind of breaking out. That is when they would buy. And then they have no TP and they trail their stop. What Darvas would do, Nicholas Darvas, is he would find like the strongest stocks at all-time highs, wait for them to consolidate, and then as a buy stop as they're breaking into a new high, then you buy there, and that can work too. But he had no TP and he just trailed a stop. Now there's other versions. One using EMAs. The EMA crosses over. You go long. There's versions where you buy the bottom based on price failing to make a new low. There's versions based on diagonal breaks, which is where a long-term trend line breaks. You go long there, or you go short there, or again the market makes a new high. So those are the common entries. You know, I'm not going to tell you there's a better one personally. The 3 that I like is market failing to make a new low or high and then trading a reverse, and high time frame trend line break, and market making a new high. Those new high or new low. Those are my 3 favorite entries, or to ideas that there's going to be a trend. But again, I think the important thing is that you don't have a TP and that you trail your stop. And there's different ways to trail your stop. You can trail them under EMAs. You can trail them under previous day's lows or highs. You can trail them under weekly lows, highs. You can trail them under some structure. There's different versions of it. And I also want to shout out, like I have more books. There's another, the U.S. stock investing champion in 2020, Oliver Kell, did a 10x in 1 year. 10x'd his money in 1 year. And I think he was in the $1 million division, if I recall correctly. I mean, at a minimum, he made $1 million, but I think he might have made 8 figures that year. What was he doing? He was doing a form of trend following. Now, the no TP is actually, yeah, I think he would take certain profits, but for the most part, you get into a trend and you just trail your stop, and you're along for the ride. He did the same thing. So, yeah, what does that mean? It's like, it's important to know this, right? This is knowing. So how did I learn this? Well, one is I had to pay $1 million lesson where it's like, okay, day trading, scalping didn't work for me, and doing nothing but trend following would have worked for me. Past experience, my best trades, my best times has just been trend following, and then building a system and backtesting that trend following works. And of course, the clues are from the people who make the most money. These guys aren't on YouTube selling you a course. They don't need to. They're billionaires. That's what they do, is they follow trends. No TP trailing stop for the most part. So, well, let's wrap this up. What more can we say here? Well, if you found it useful, leave a comment, hit the thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Again, I've got 2 YouTube channels, Travis Wu and Travis Wu Trades. But yeah, I mean, like, you need to explore ideas. Like, part of it is giving up as well, like pornography. And when I say pornography, I also mean like just like random dopamine shit, and like seek proper education, right? So like getting the right books for whatever it is, if you're trading, if you're not trading, whatever your profession is, whatever your life needs, finding the right books and reading them over and over again, throwing your computer away, throwing your phone away, throwing away the things that you think that you know, sitting down there with a pen and paper every night, every morning, and saying like, what's wrong? What can I forget today? What do I know? What do I believe? And trying to learn the right things, right? So, yeah, it's and then it's possible, right? Make $1 million doing nothing, but knowing a lot, right? And the knowledge is a hard one though. The knowledge is hard won, right? So, but I'm giving you a fucking $1 million lesson for free, right? So, yeah, it's crazy, but it's true. So, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll share more if I need to, but I think it's pretty simple. The takeaways, at least, again, it's not easy to do. Like, you got to give up your addiction to doing scrolling and all this, but yeah, it's possible to make $1 million, 7 figures doing nothing, just knowing something. It's crazy, but yep. Anyways, much love. Look forward to reading your comments. Peace.